Hey folks, here's another video I got for you. I took it from End Times Productions. He does good videos. I've watched a lot of his videos. Um, I watched him longer than TruthStream Media because I've known about him longer. And his content's different, but I'm going to leave a link to his channel below in the description box. And you can go to his channel, not to the video, to the channel, and then you can subscribe and like his videos, or you'll like the videos. And he has other people on there that are pretty in depth with the things that have to do with fallen angels and demonic entities and different things. And mostly that's what he's about. But he gets into the governmental things also, and where they get their information from and different things. And it's interesting. And this is about the temple, mostly about the temple on I think it's called St. James Island, the Epstein Island, and what it's for. And it's pretty interesting because it's there's tunnels underneath, there's caverns, there's rooms where most people don't go or didn't go or whatever, however it is. But he'll explain it. This morning, last night I cooked a turkey. This morning I tore it apart, separated the meat. My dog liked 2 bowls, and then she ran after I. She did that before. Well, she gets sick of turkey pretty fast. And last year, year before, I got turkey out for her to eat, and she started trotting off. She said, "I don't want anything to do with that." It took her like 2 days to eat it. But when I give her something, she's going to eat it, or she's going to not eat it at all. Because I'm not like that. She's too picky. I mean, she can like something really good, one little bowl, and then you give her another one. It's like, what's this for? Because once she got the taste of beef, she'll wait to eat for 2 days just to get beef. And if she doesn't get it, well, then she eats. And that's how it is. Because beef is so expensive, and I can't not afford to just give it to her all the time. I don't very often feed her dog food. It's very little. There's a Badlands dog food I'd like to get, but I haven't been able to. I just got too much going out and not enough coming in, just like everybody else. But so I canned beef stew yesterday that I made, and the other beef I dried. Well, it's drying. It's a process. I got to hang it up. But it's been in salt. But and then so I got 4 quarts of turkey, mostly white meat, ready to can. They're in jars. I just got to put them on. But I'm cooking another turkey right now, and I'm cooking potatoes. And then I've got some other turkey and some broth that I'm going to make gravy with to put on the potatoes. And I still got some white meat and some broth in the one stock pot. But I'm going to do the other turkey, tear it apart, and then separate the meat. And probably what I'll do with that, I'll do the same with the meat that I did today, and get it ready in jars to can. And then I'm going to make a stew, like a beef stew, but with turkey. And I'm going to can that. It'd be like pot pie without the shell, kind of thing. So that's what I've been working on. And I did dishes like a couple times. No, I did dishes once, but most of them were pans because I've been using them. And my bread didn't turn out so good yesterday, so I made some again today. It's like more like pita bread, which is fine with me. But I've been busy, and it's after 1 o'clock right now. And I started it pretty early this morning. So I've been pretty busy just with that. And then I come out and I was going to, well, it was sunny last time I knew. I come out and it felt like rain. I felt a couple sprinkles and there's no sun. I was going to charge some stuff on my solar system. And I said, nope, I can't be doing that. And so I've got one power bank that's probably got enough to charge my phone maybe twice, maybe a little more. I don't know, but probably twice. And because I might want to charge a external speaker. My phone's been working down in my house in my kitchen pretty good, except today I didn't want to. It quit. So I had to take it up by the entryway. And I'm still, loading this up with everything. So I'm not even clearing anything out. And besides, then I've got wood that I've started working on. And so that's where I'm at with that right now. And anyway, so I'm going to attach this to the front of the video that I screen recorded. Used to be I would do parts of videos. Lately, I've done a few, and these people do not care if you record their videos and share them. They just don't care. Some people are pretty uppity about that. And, if I put a link to their channel, I wouldn't think they would care because it's not like I take, a lot of their videos and screen record them and put them out there. Because I want to say a few things too, and I put my own videos up. Usually they're shorter and they're about things that's happening. But some of these people put things together way too well. And for me to spend the time doing all the research and everything, it's just, there's no point because it's already out there, but maybe you're not seeing it. And if you're seeing it, great, fantastic. Go give them a thumbs up and subscribe to their channel. And if you want to support them, support them. Because frankly, I don't make any money anyway. I never have. All my channels that's been taken down, not one of them did I ever make money on. Not one of them. They will not monetize me. They never have monetized me. They're never going to monetize me. And frankly, even though they put ads up on some of my videos, because I know people have told me that, if people think that I'm making any money off the ads, I'm not. And I don't like them. The ads that they put on my videos, I don't like them, and they don't like me anyway. So there's that. So anyways, I'm going to attach this to the video and watch it and tell me what you think, and then go to his channel and see what else you can find, because I'm pretty sure you'll find something that you'll like. And it's very good what he does. I'm out.
Everybody's talking about the Epstein files, the email, the blackmail, the powerful men who visited the island, but nobody's asking the real questions. The questions like, what was that temple on Little St. James Island used for? Was there really a tunnel underneath it that went deep into the mountain? Was there tunnels that connected that to other places? And what were those tunnels used for? What were they doing underground? Because we know the official story is lacking in its explanation. But what was it actually used for? Because there's been some people, some whistleblowers, some survivors who escaped the island who allegedly said some very interesting things about that temple. Whether it's true or not, you be the judge. And here's where it gets pretty strange, because according to some people, survivors say that they heard weird things at night. They heard things like chanting. They heard strange music that didn't sound quite right, like it wasn't really coming from anywhere. They talk about symbols that were carved into stones, underground tunnels, and elevators that went down inside that hilltop. Leading to where? I don't know. And also, there was apparently some rooms that people weren't allowed to enter that went along with this oppressive presence that people talked about. An evil. They felt an evil. It was an evil that hung over certain parts of the island. In fact, the entire island, Little St. James Island. A lot of people said that as soon as they stepped onto the island, they felt it was off. They felt oppressed. They felt darkness that was surrounding the entire island. Now, when you look at this architecture and you look at the temple itself and what it was made out of, what it looked like, you realize that it really is, there's something disturbing here because it wasn't designed for humans, basically. It was designed, in my opinion, for something else, something darker, something far more sinister. And what is that specifically? Well, let's just cut to the chase because we can find the answer to that question in the Bible. Because Ephesians 6:12 says that we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against the powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Okay? That's what the Bible says. So, what if Epstein's Island wasn't just about SA or ST, okay? But what if it was actually a gateway into the spiritual, a gateway into another dimension?
That the Sphinx was a door to another dimension, a gateway to immeasurable power.
To another dimension?
Demons live in the box.
Those were demons in the bowels of hell.
Let me show you what I mean, okay? The temple that was sitting on Little St. James on Epstein Island, it was on the highest point of the island. And my calculations, in my opinion, that's not random. He chose that specific spot on purpose. Why? Because it's an ancient occult practice. High places is what they were called in the Bible, and they were considered thin. The veil between our world and the other world was considered thinner the higher you get. So generally, in the Old Testament and in the ancient times, occultists and people doing rituals and people trying to contact the other side would choose the highest place, the high place, to conduct their rituals so that their ritual would be a success. These locations where the barrier between the physical and the spiritual was weak, they're real and they're the high places, all right? So the Bible constantly warns us about high places over and over again. It's all over the Old Testament. God commands Israel to tear down places where the pagan nations were they were worshiping their gods, their demons, their fallen angels. Okay, this is spiritual warfare at its highest levels, everybody. And why? Why did they build it in the high places? Because it worked. Okay. They wouldn't do something over and over again if it didn't work. And as we know, the things of old are also the things of new. All the secret societies, all the rituals, the occultism, all the black magic, everything around today is literally brought back from the ancient world. So if they did it in ancient times, they're doing it today. Okay. So let's look at the design itself of this building. The entrance, it faces magnetic north. In ritual magic, directional alignment, it really does matter because north in occult theology, it represents the void, the abyss, the dwelling place of demonic entities. And that's occult cosmology, and that's across the board. By facing the door towards the abyss, is he summoning entities to come into that place? And if he is, what entities and why? All right, now look at the golden dome, okay, in this picture. Golden dome. It's a distinctive golden cap. And here's the thing that people don't talk about. That exact design, it appears and it was been featured on Phoenician temples that were dedicated to Moloch, the demon who demanded child sacrifice. That's right, Moloch, the Old Testament god. You think it's a coincidence that Epstein had that on his temple too? I don't. I think it was purposeful, and he did it for a specific reason. What about the blue and white stripes? These colors, that pattern, okay, it matches temples that were found all over Mesopotamia. Okay, specifically temples that were dedicated to Ishtar. Ishtar was the goddess of what? That's right. If you know, I can't really say it here, but what it represents, okay, it's the goddess of also the goddess of war. It's a combination of what Epstein was doing and a war. That's what she represents. And in the Bible, she's known as Astaroth, one of the demonic entities that the Israelites were forbidden to worship. Okay, she's mentioned specifically. Ishtar, Ashtaroth, same thing. And the proportions of this temple, well, many architects have analyzed the building's dimensions. And according to these people, they don't match any known functional space. But what they do match is something else. sacred geometry. And these sacred geometry ratios were found and are found in Kabbalistic texts specifically. There are literal specific mathematical relationships that are believed to create, they call it like a resonance, okay? Resonant with some spiritual force behind it, based on the dimensions of specific the buildings and, you know, angles by themselves. These things are known, and they have been known for thousands of years. But take all that stuff, don't listen to me, just take it with a grain of salt, whatever. But what you should do is listen to the witness testimony. The multiple women who escaped the islands describe the same thing. They allegedly describe underground chambers. I heard one story that there was 12 thrones arranged in a circle with symbols carved on each one that looked like no alphabet they'd ever seen. Whether that's true or not, I don't know. But I've heard it, and you probably have too. One of these women allegedly drew symbols from memory, and archaeologists identified them with Sumerian cuneiform, which was obviously the language that was written in, or written and used in ancient Babylon. I don't know if they're true or not, but this is what I've heard, and I don't know. Have you heard this too? That underneath the island, there's tunnels, there's secret areas, there's chambers in the rock that basically terrible, unspeakable things happened in. Spiritual things. Most cultures worldwide, according to mainstream history, have histories of human sacrifices. I mean, look, you have Samaria, Babylon, Egypt, Canaan, Greece, Rome, different names, same entities, Moloch, Baal, Asheroth, Dagon, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. This type of thing could be found all over the world, okay? Demons, fallen angels, they demand the same thing, innocent blood, because it helps them. It helps them come through onto our side. When the blood is spilled, these things get more power and can more easily inhabit the magician in a way that allows them to, have basically a symbiotic relationship and work together at the same goal. That's the bottom line. The magician invites the spirit in so that they can work together, so that the spirit can augment the magician, kind of like how they want to augment humanity today with AI. It's the same thing. Now we're trying to augment ourselves with technology. Back then, and still today, actually, and behind the scenes, they're trying to augment themselves spiritually. Okay. And Jeffrey Epstein, well, allegedly, he's doing the same exact thing that they were doing. These are the same sacrifices to the same ancient demons. And these demons demand blood. That's exactly what I think Epstein was doing. And I think that's why they're trying to keep it under wraps. Yeah, sure. They just released these, 20,000 emails, which are very interesting, by the way. And some of the things in there about Trump aren't looking good for him. But this isn't about that, okay? Because the mainstream media, they don't want to dig deep into this and reveal all of the secrets. They want to do surface level things. They want to expose surface level information. That way people aren't too outraged, okay? Because what if Epstein wasn't working alone? And we know he wasn't. What if he was working for intelligence agencies or governments? That's the rumor. I'm not saying he was or wasn't, but I'm saying there's some evidence to support him being an insider. But it seems kind of strange because his network, it was too vast, too organized. It was too protected, actually. Powerful men from every nation all around the world, every industry, political party, you name it, they're all connected. They're all connected through this one common thread. They all visited the island. Okay. I mean, it's insane how many people visited the island, and the records of that are still there. They participated in something. Why would they visit that? Is it like Bohemian Grove, but on steroids? Bohemian Grove is more of the playful aspect of it, and this is the real deal? Maybe. So they went to the island. All these people, all these bigwigs went to the island. They participated in something, and then they became compromised. Okay, they were able to be controlled. And who was controlling them? And who was using blackmail? Who was it? Was it Epstein himself? Or was there something behind Epstein that was pulling the strings of this whole thing? Was Epstein the ringleader of this whole thing, or was he just a puppet? Was he the face of it? But behind him, there's a whole nother layer, a darker layer, a deeper layer that people aren't even talking about. And Epstein's job was just providing this initiation. Okay, not into a secret society. No, something darker, something older, something more direct. And this is, in my opinion, communion, even with these principalities and powers that the Bible warns us about, with these fallen angels, with the actual demons that still wander the earth today. And guys, honestly, here's why it matters more than people think. 2 Corinthians 4:4, it says, "The God of this world blinds the minds of unbelievers." The God of this world. Who's that? It's not a metaphor. It's not poetic language. No, it's Satan. It's the devil. It's Lucifer, even though Lucifer isn't technically his name, but Satan. He's referred to as the prince of this world 3 times in the Gospel of John. And then you have Daniel 10:3. An angel tells Daniel that he was delayed because he was fighting the prince of the Persian kingdom, a demonic entity that was assigned to control the nation. This wasn't metaphorical, guys. This was literal. This angel was literally in a battle with, a demonic god, a fallen angel, however you want to call him. And we know demons and fallen angels are totally different things, but they work together. They're one and the same as far as their alignment goes. So yeah, a fallen angel could be called demonic, but they're not. It's not a demon. It's a lot more powerful than a demon. Demons are only in the spiritual and can only inhabit bodies to get their physical power. As far as but when you look at fallen angels can appear physical. They don't need to inhabit bodies, but they can. And you might be saying, how can a fallen angel possess somebody? Well, if you look at what happened to Judas, okay, it says that Judas was possessed by Satan. Satan literally inhabited his body when he hung himself. So under that precedent, yes, fallen angels can also inhabit people, but they don't need to because they have physical bodies as well. How that works, I don't know, but that's what the Bible says. Some people might be saying, "Oh, that's ancient mythology. It's not modern. There's no modern relevance to this. We live in current year where, we have all this technology. We don't need to rely on the spiritual." But technology and the spiritual are the one and the same. Explain this if you don't think it's real. Why do global leaders meet at Bohemian Grove to perform these mock human sacrifices in front of a 40-foot owl statue? Okay, guys, this Bohemian Grove isn't conspiracy theory. It's fact. We all know about it. Everybody knows about it. And ask yourself this, okay? How come the mainstream media doesn't cover Bohemian Grove? None of them do. You can only find information about Bohemian Grove from third-party sources or people who storm into it, like AJ and some other people. And the mainstream media, even though they know it's fact, they know that it's a legitimate place, they don't cover it now or ever. And when it's confronted by, investigators and people trying to figure it out, they claim, "Oh, it's just tradition, guys. Don't worry about it. It's just harmless fun," because they know. They know it's real, so they have to deflect it. If it wasn't real, why would they do it in this exact same way? And look, I'm not saying Bohemian Grove, they're actually doing the sacrifice. No, I think, like I said before, I think that that's a symbolic ritual that puts their intent into that spirit. But then when you take that intent and you bring it to Epstein Island, well, that's when it takes that whole thing to another level. Because intent only goes so far. The cultist's first step, as far as doing rituals and magic spells, it's always intent. But if you want to take that to another level, you have to actually perform stronger and stronger rituals until you maxed out your ritual strength, so to speak. Okay. And look, guys, the people at the Bohemian Grove, at Epstein Island, they know it's real. They know who they're serving. And they know that if the public understood, they truly understood what's happening, what rituals they're doing and why, there would be a reckoning because the public would not stand for it. I'm telling you. And it's obvious, guys, because here's the thing about the spiritual realm, spiritual forces, fallen angels, the demons, the demonic power, all that stuff. It's real. It works. Not in the same way that the movies show. No, you don't summon a demon and it grants you 3 wishes, right? Like Aladdin or something. It's not a jinn. It's not a genie. No, it's more subtle than that. It's more insidious. You open a door, you invite something in, you make an agreement, and you don't have to speak a word. It's all internal. So a sacrifice that allows the spirit to actually inhabit you. A ritual, the same thing. This act of worship that they're doing, it's an exchange for knowledge, for power, for a mutual control over that body between whatever spirit is in there, or spirits, I should say, legion, and the person who did the ritual in the first place. And it's more than just things like promotions at work, connections with people, opportunities, money, fame. It's more than that. Sure, that's all part of it, but it goes far beyond that. And once you've opened that door, once you've accepted it, you've accepted that power, you're bound by it. You're compromised. You can't go back without losing everything. And that's why they film it. That's why they document it. It's not just for blackmail purposes. It's not just for a way to keep control over somebody. No, it's a seal. It's a contract. It's proof that you've committed what Matthew 4:9 says. I think it's Satan's offer. And look, I do believe that through Jesus Christ, you can be saved. You can come out of this whole thing and you could be renewed. You can be given a new life. So these people could find their way out through Jesus because Jesus does forgive all sins. Well, except for the one sin, the one unforgivable sin. But outside of that, you can still be forgiven. Now, is that unforgivable sin? Was that what we're talking about here? I don't know. Because theologians they have different opinions on what that blasphemy of the Holy Spirit is specifically. So, what do you think? Put it in the comments. And a lot of people don't really understand the implications of this because they're pretty serious. And right now, as of today, the U.S. House of Representatives is preparing to vote on releasing all the sealed Epstein files. And praise God if they do. And hopefully, this type of thing that I'm talking about is included in there so that can be so a light can be shed on it, right? Because we need the light to be shed on this because there are powerful people doing things, everything they can do to stop it. They don't want it to be released. They don't want this information to become mainstream, to become part of the public record because it's going to implicate them all. And look what just happened in the last few days, right? Congress released 20,000 Epstein emails. We briefly touched on that. And what do we find? Trump's name all over them. There's even evidence that he saw things and that he spent hours with one of the victims. And this is directly from Epstein's emails. Also said that if anybody wanted to bring Epstein down, it would be Trump. That Trump was the dog that didn't bark. So I wouldn't be surprised if something major happens to pull the national attention off of this once again, because we know last time people were getting too close, something happened, and it took the national attention and put it on something else. So I wouldn't be surprised if that happens again. At the time of this recording, everybody's focused on Epstein. So is something going to happen soon that's going to deflect attention off of this once again? Well, if it does, come back to this video and timestamp this because I'm calling it right now that it's possible. I'm not saying it will happen. It's possible that a major event will happen in the next few days that will distract the public again. And hopefully it doesn't, okay? If it doesn't, praise God, because we need this thing to become exposed. Because, guys, after all, we know that the world that they're building now, the world they're building today, is being built by people who have most likely made deals with the other side, with the spiritual realm, with temples that are hidden on islands, in temples hidden on islands, performing secret rituals behind closed doors. Is this true or not? I don't know. You tell me. Do you believe it? Epstein and his temple? Well, that's probably just one node in this big network that goes around the world. And whenever he was removed from the game, there's probably another one that popped up somewhere that people don't know about yet, okay? And here's what people really need to understand. And this isn't about proving Epstein was into the occult. No, because we can't really prove it right now. It's all speculation and it's all allegedly stuff, okay? We don't really know for sure. All we can do is look at what we know and try and connect dots. Now, whether or not that's actually what was going on, who knows? I believe it was, but that's just my opinion. And I'm not even talking about exposing specific celebrities or politicians or CEOs or whatever. I'm talking about just recognizing this spiritual reality that we are in, the spiritual world that's being controlled by these demonic forces. So, what do you think about all this? Do you think there is an actual spiritual aspect to Epstein Island, to what Epstein was doing to his temple? Does it connect back to the Old Testament, to these human sacrifices, to the fallen angels, to Nimrod, to the Tower of Babel, to all these things? Put it in the comments below.